What's up, folks? Hadn't I had a chance to really record anything in a good little while. Well, no, actually, I just recorded something the other day for YouTube. So this is about business and just some observations that I have gleaned over the years from working for small business owners and also working for, uh, and I think I kind of touched on this at different times in other videos. I'll go into a little more detail here, but the biggest takeaway and the biggest thing that was there for me to share was how I really don't like corporate America. And at the same time, in my experience in working for small business owners, basically solopreneurs, that I've worked for probably about off and on, I've worked for about 5 or 6 different small business owners over the last 15 years. And one of the things I've always observed and noticed that's very interesting about both of those structures, whether it's the corporate structure or the small business structures, a lot of times, in our efforts to get free from the matrix and get free from the rat race, whether you're working in the corporate sector or you're working as an entrepreneur or small business owner, would take, many times that's a solopreneur where you're wearing many hats, right? You're doing everything yourself is a lot of times people have not acquired people skills, the ability to connect with people in communication to where the communication lands with the person that you're bringing into your organization such that they're motivated to really give it their all and to represent the brand with 100% authenticity, passion, and integrity in the same way that you have, in this particular case, as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, to help get to a certain point where you don't have to punch a clock and trade time for money and working for someone else. And when you get to a certain point, if you haven't been able to automate or scale your business, and maybe I'm not saying this exactly right, you have to bring people in to be on your team to help grow and build your vision, or otherwise you're still doing it all yourself. And that's just a lot. I mean, you're working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks sometimes, possibly even more than that. How did Lori Grenier say it from Shark Tank? She said, I'm willing to work 80 hours a week so I won't have to work 40 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? That says it all right there. So the point is, most of the time in both of those structures, I've found in many cases, those people did not know how to talk to people. And when you talk to people in a dismissive or condescending way, I ain't talking about anybody. I ain't pointing fingers. And if you identify with this, that's your issue. That ain't mine. I'm just sharing on my channel what I observe in my life experience and working for, people in the corporate structure, supervisors, managers, or whatever, or working for small business owners. The biggest thing I will say is if you do not know how to talk to people, people will shut down on your ass in a heartbeat. That's why that skill of being able to communicate is so freaking priceless. And I've said it in other, things. I think I have it in another YouTube video where I touched on that. But it's so huge because I think it's a natural, innate tendency that human beings have to want to go above and beyond and give more than they can. Because I know, and I would assert that most of us have this in us to where we want to feel like we've been a contribution and we made a difference that day with the work that we put in. The only real thing that's a deflating aspect of that, especially a lot of times when you're working for most of these jobs, is at the end of a 40-hour, if you're working overtime, which is kind of rare, I guess, these days, maybe, or maybe not, because there's so many jobs that seem to have a hard time finding people because people are content to just sit home and collect the money that the government is sending to them. But in times prior, if you work a 40-hour week or you work some overtime, and then you look at that check for all of the effort that you put in to make a difference with that company, and then you see those numbers on that check, you're like, fuck, it can be deflating as hell, So that's one aspect of it. But the other point is, and the main point of this video, is priceless to know how to talk to people. Whether you're in an intimate relationship, whether you're in a business relationship, whether you have subordinates, to know how to talk to people and not come off like an asshole or a dictator or a tyrant. Now, if that's, the modus operandi that you have, and that's what you get off on, and that if that's what works for you, then so be it. And I think there's a quote that says something like, it's better to be feared than loved. Or is it better to be feared than loved? And I've heard a lot of people say it's better to be feared, right? Um, and I can see where there's some merit to that. But above all else, man, if you're going to move up in business, whether it's working for a corporate situation or working for, a small business owner, or just in your interpersonal relationships as an employee within those organizations, we all need to learn the value of communication and how important it is to communicate in such a way where the other person gets what we say. And furthermore, we listen better than we communicate, such that the person that we're speaking to knows that they have been gotten, as they say in landmark education, the landmark education programs, in communication. When another person knows that they have been gotten in communication, I know from my own experience, at times it has moved me to tears. That's why I did a video on here called Undercover Boss, because I love that TV show. And just seeing what it's like for the person that runs the business, that's a successful business owner, that's probably a millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, that gets down in the trenches in his organization or her organization to see what's happening in the everyday lives of the people that work in that corporation, and to really be in their world and find out what they're dealing with, to where it's like to see those business owners move to tears and to say, wow, I see your heart is in the right place. The person that's working the fry machine, or the person that's a middle manager, but they're dealing with a lot of stuff, broken relationship, or their children are just in a bad way or whatever. And they're like, well, here's, $5,000 for your continued education or whatever. That's a powerful thing. And, not a lot of business owners are in position to do that. But the point is, it is imperative that if we are to move forward as a race of people, and I'm talking about the human race, it is vital that we really can listen and really be present, fully present for the communication that other person is delivering to us. And that is so huge, because when a person knows that you got their communication, I know from my own personal experience in a program I was in, and a woman really listened because she saw that I was triggered. And she was just right there. I mean, I literally fell in love with the woman right there in the moment, because she really got my communication. That is absolutely priceless. So wherever you are in this conversation, the point is we all can stand from the benefit of improving our communication and our listening skills, because that helps us all to move forward with whatever we're up to in life, whether it's relationship with our children and being able to really listen to what they're dealing with, or whether it's a relationship with our spouse, or, communicating commands to the people that work for us as a small business owner, or if it's middle management or senior management, and talking to the people that work under us and listening to the people that work under us, so we can all have that bridge that helps us all to come together, so stuff can get done more efficiently and people can be happier, more fulfilled. Because people that are happier and more fulfilled make for a lot less call outs, a lot less turnover, a lot less gossip, a lot less distractions and backbiting and avoiding, doing their job, because people are happy. And then furthermore, when you can take what you're communicating and really deliver it to people in such a way where they really get that you hear them, and at the same time compensate them or have incentive-based programs that help them to improve their skill sets, so that even if they don't stay on your job, they can actually probably refer people to you, because they'll realize and they will appreciate how much you did for them to help them to get their life together. Because a lot of people are going through a tough time. I've been one of them. And at the same time, when whether we're a business owner or an employee, if we can really be, like as an example, and I'll complete to take on the distinctions of like this one book I've been listening to off and on for quite some time now called The Science of Getting Rich, and really, doing more than what is expected of us, not with the expectation of something in return, but just doing it because that's what we do as professionals and people that are of integrity. It comes back to us in ways that we may not be able to notice or see right there in the moment, maybe not even on that job. It comes back to us though. And to be kind and to be polite, that's something I've had to work at. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Thank you. You're welcome. How are you this morning? That's all been a lot of growth for me because for a long time I wasn't doing that. But those little things make a tremendous difference. Kindness does go a long way. And sometimes tough love is what's necessary as well. But above all else, the main point is let's all improve our communication and our listening abilities, and it'll make the world a much better place. Thanks a lot, folks.